Hello and welcome to the Martini Shot. My name is Brandon and today we are going to be reviewing the 2022 Christmas action movie, Violent Night. But before we do that, we are going to be making a fun, blood-covered Christmas cocktail I've named O Gory Night. And hey, if you enjoy movie reviews and movie-themed cocktails, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to help support the channel. All right, we're gonna jump straight into this cocktail. First, we're gonna be starting with a little bit of rum chata as mostly the base. If you have a rum that you specifically want to use over just the store-bought rum chata, I highly suggest that you make your own rum chata with whichever rum you prefer. But just for time, I'm going to be using the standard rum chata that you can usually find in most liquor stores. And then we're also going to be throwing some additional rum on there just to bring the alcohol percentage up just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and start with 1.5 ounces of rum chata. All right, next we're going to be coming back to that rum. We're only going to be doing about 1 ounce just to, like I said, tip the alcohol percentage up just a little bit. I'm going to be using Plantation 3-year. This is a very good rum. However, I do think a dark rum would also work pretty well considering all of the flavor elements that you're going to be having in this drink. We're going to do 1 ounce. All right, next we're going to be bringing in some more dessert flavors, first starting with some peppermint, courtesy of some peppermint schnapps. If you've ever had peppermint schnapps before, you know that the flavor is pretty strong and can easily overpower your cocktail, so you definitely don't want to use too much. We're just going to use about 1/2 ounce. All right, and next we are going to be bringing in a little bit of chocolate flavor, and we are going to be using creme de cacao. If you want, you can also use a chocolate liqueur. I think you'll get some of the same flavors and textures with that. But for here, since we already have the rum chata in, I don't really think we need to build on the texture even more. So let's go ahead and do the creme de cacao. We are only going to be doing 1/2 ounce. All right, let's go ahead and throw some ice in the shaker and shake to chill. All right, and then for this drink, you are going to be needing a rocks glass. We'll go ahead and throw some ice in there too. And we'll go ahead and strain. All right, the drink itself is done, but now we need a garnish, and I thought it was fun in the spirit of Christmas and the winter and holidays to put something akin to a snowball on top. And of course, the first thing that came to my mind was some ice cream. So we're gonna go ahead and put a big ol' scoop right on top. And then to top it off, I've gone 2 different ways on how I wanna do the blood for this. I've used a strawberry jam, and I've also used some juice from the maraschino cherries jar. So whichever one you want to use, if you have a different red blood-like substance you want to put on top, you're more than welcome to give it a try. Let's go ahead and do the maraschino juice. And then the drink is almost done, but I did actually find these. I completely forgot that I had bought these back for Halloween, but I found these fun little edible knives and axes and stuff. So I thought that'd be a pretty good garnish as well. Let's go with the axe. That seems fun. All right, there you go. Now you have the O Gory Night. The rum chata is definitely the heaviest flavor at play here. You definitely get a lot of the spices that kind of come with that. But then as you let it kind of sit in your mouth a little bit longer, a little bit on the back end, you start to really kind of get that cool crispness of the peppermint. And that chocolate's a little bit under there too as well. The other rum you can't really even taste, but it's not really there for you to taste. It's more there just to kind of make this a cocktail when it comes to the amount of alcohol you're putting in there. So yeah, very creamy, very dessert-like. You got a lot of different dessert flavors working in there, and I think it just fits the spirit of the holidays. You get a little bit of that cherry too, just a little bit of added sweetness. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, especially visually. I think it's a lot of fun and definitely encapsulates what the film is like. Now that we have our drink, let's jump straight into the review of Violent Night. Have you ever watched a movie trailer and thought to yourself, did I accidentally click on an SNL skit? Well, that's essentially what went through my head when I saw the trailer for Violent Night. With its corny Christmas puns and Santa Claus beating up naughty mercenaries, I was just waiting for Kenan Thompson to pop out any minute. But then I realized this was indeed a real movie written by the team behind the Sonic the Hedgehog films and directed by the guy behind Dead Snow and Spermageddon. Truth be told, my expectations were pretty low for this. I enjoy the occasional low-concept beat-em-up film now and then, but I didn't get my hopes up too high for this to be as off the wall as the concept allows. And yeah, Violent Night is pretty much what I expected. Santa beating up bad guys and saving Christmas. A pretty predictable plot that does lend to some fun creative fight scenes and an enjoyable lead performance. However, it does feel like the film played it a bit too safe with its story and tried to add too much padding to make this longer than, I don't know, an SNL skit. One fateful Christmas Eve, a downtrodden Santa Claus believed kids these days are too enveloped in the materialistic side of Christmas and have forgotten what the holiday is all about. Under the impression that this may be his final Christmas, he suddenly finds himself unwillingly entangled in a hostage situation involving a rich, mostly downright despicable family. Yet it's the influence of a young girl who still believes in the magic of Christmas that convinces Santa to beat the absolute piss out of her family's kidnappers, and what else? Save Christmas. So of course the biggest draw to this film is seeing Santa kill bad guys in many creative and festive ways. And like he does every year, Santa delivers. David Harbour plays a good old Saint Nick in hilarious fashion, portraying him as both a bumbling goof and a lethal killer. Harbour's comedic timing is still as great as ever, and it does seem like he got into a lot of the physicality the film had to offer. It's not the first ever depressed Santa we've seen, but it's the first one to be a hammer-wielding Viking, to my knowledge. The rest of the cast isn't nearly as memorable, but I can't put too much of the blame on themselves because their characters aren't exactly the best. We do have John Leguizamo as the villain, donning the moniker of Mr. Scrooge, who manages to be pretty entertaining through his pissed-off, Christmas-hating ways. The Lightstone family, who Scrooge holds hostage, are purposefully annoying, which leads to sometimes comedy and other times, well, annoyance. They're definitely there to be thinly written caricatures of wealth that get put in their place later down the line, but a lot of times the film slows down too much when we tend to focus on them. The film actually slows down a lot at points, and even at 112 minutes, the film still feels longer than it really needs to be. We get a lot of backstory for Santa and radio conversations between him and Trudy, the girl he's trying to save, but the scenes really hurt the pacing and bring everything to a halt. A better script would make this bearable, but for a film about high-octane violence, it just doesn't work that well. I can appreciate them for trying to keep the film from being completely mindless, it's just what they went with isn't all that interesting. The fight scenes are of course the main attraction, and when we finally get to see them, they can be pretty solid. Santa makes use of everything holly and jolly, from Christmas stars to candy canes licked into shivs, to everyone's favorite Christmas decoration, a wood chipper. It gets pretty brutal, but remains just cartoony enough to not turn out needlessly edgy. The big final kill is truly a sight to behold in all of its disgusting beauty. Also, this might be the closest we get to a rated R Home Alone sequel, so I gotta give it props to that. While the film has its moments, I do wish we could have seen a little more of an out there story. I feel like the idea of Santa fighting bad guys and saving a family from Christmas has been around for ages, and unfortunately no amount of season's beatings makes it feel any fresher. Big dumb films like this should have a big dumb plot, where they really get weird and go balls to the wall with all this Santa Claus lore and all the settings you could place him in. I suppose this is fine for what it is, but nothing really blew me away here. There's certainly some fun to be had with Violent Night, making it quite the wild card to throw into your holiday film rotation. The action is impressive at times, and the characters are so stupid that it will occasionally make you laugh. There's no real surprises here, so if this seems like something you'd enjoy at face value, then this is pretty much what you're gonna get. For me, I'm sticking with the true badass Santa, Detective Crashmore.
I don't care if I die at all. Everything has sucked lately.
For my rating, I'm giving this film 2.5 Shiv candy canes out of 5. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Martini Shot. If you saw Violent Night, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. And if you like what you saw here and would like to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me across all social media channels. Those links are down in the description below. And if you enjoy movie reviews and movie-themed cocktails, be sure to check out my website, martinishot.blog. Until then, thank you again for watching. I will see you in the next one. Live deliciously, but please remember to drink responsibly.